So let's talk about a system that completely changed modern manufacturing. And where did this revolutionary idea come from? Well, you might be surprised. It was the grocery store. Yep, this is the story of Kanban.
I mean, have you ever really thought about it? You walk into your local supermarket and they somehow have thousands of things perfectly stocked all the time. It's not like they've got this giant warehouse in the back with a year's supply of everything, right? So, how do they do it? How do they pull that off? It seems like a simple question, but the answer holds the key to something huge.
Well, way back in the 1940s, some Toyota engineers were really struggling with factory efficiency, and their big aha moment came from studying American supermarkets. What they saw was a super simple rule in action. A shelf only gets restocked after someone buys something. That empty space on the shelf, that's a signal, it's a trigger. So Toyota took that exact idea and applied it to their production line. This created what we now call the just-in-time system, and the goal was crystal clear. Don't make or order anything until it's absolutely needed for the very next step in the process.
Okay, so that's a great idea for a supermarket. But how in the world do you apply that to something as ridiculously complex as building a car? Well, the very first step is to make the whole process visible. You've got to see it to manage it. Let's take a look at how the work actually flows. Right, so the physical parts of a car, they obviously move in one direction, right? From the supplier, through the factory, and out comes a finished car. That's what we call the flow of work. But here's the key difference. Traditional manufacturing just pushes a ton of materials down the line and hopes it all gets used eventually. Kanban is the total opposite. It's a pull system. Nothing, and I mean nothing, moves forward until the next station in line actually asks for it. And this is where the magic happens. The information, the signal itself, actually flows backward, against the flow of work. It's just like that empty spot on the supermarket shelf. A need on the assembly line sends a little signal, a Kanban, back to the parts department. And when the parts department starts running low, it sends a signal back to the people who make the parts. This backward flow of information is like the nervous system of the entire factory. It's constantly pulling just enough stuff forward exactly when it's needed and not a moment sooner.
So, these signals, they aren't just vague suggestions like, hey, we need more stuff. No, they are super specific instructions. The system uses different types of cards, we call them Kanbans, to communicate precisely what's needed, where it needs to go, and when. You can think of it as a special language for the entire factory floor.
Let's break it down. You can think of these as different kinds of text messages. A supplier Kanban, that's basically just an order form you send to a vendor. A production Kanban is a work order that tells your team, hey, time to make this. You've even got express cards for when things go wrong or you're in a rush. The amazing thing is, each one is just a simple physical instruction, but together they keep this incredibly complex system perfectly in sync, and all without having massive, expensive stockpiles of inventory just sitting around.
And check this out. Here's what they actually look like. They're so simple it's almost deceptive. The production Kanban on the left, that's a direct order saying, make more of the rear left mount. All the important info is right there on the card. And the withdrawal Kanban on the right, that one says, okay, now move that part to the next workstation. It's these simple physical cards that are the real triggers. They drive every single action on the floor.
Now, this isn't just about pretty cards and arrows. It's a system built on real precision. And to get that perfect balance of just enough but not too much, well, you got to do a little bit of math.
See, the number of Kanban cards floating around for any specific part isn't just a random guess. It's actually calculated using a formula. It looks at things like how many you use per day, how long it takes to get or make more, and it even adds a little buffer, a safety stock for when things go wrong. So in this example here, if you need 100 units a day and it takes 6 days to get them, the math tells you that you need 11 cards in the system. That keeps your average stock at about 660 units. It's a totally self-regulating system that's based on real-world data, not guesswork.
Okay, so we've got a visual system. We've got a system based on precise math. But what's the big deal? What does it all add up to? I mean, why did this simple idea from a supermarket end up taking over the world of manufacturing?
The answer, it turns out, is incredibly simple. At its core, Kanban is the ultimate enemy of waste. And when you start eliminating waste, well, the impact is absolutely massive.
For starters, it makes the whole workflow visible. Everyone can see what's going on. Then it just demolishes the cost of storing extra inventory. You don't have money just sitting on a shelf collecting dust anymore. It also prevents those frustrating bottlenecks by making sure the right parts are ready at the right time. But maybe the most important thing is this. Because problems become so obvious, it forces teams to constantly get better, to innovate, to improve their process. And that's exactly why Kanban didn't just stay in factories, it jumped over to software development, to marketing, to pretty much everywhere.
So, this journey from a simple supermarket aisle to a high-tech factory floor really proves one thing, doesn't it? Simple, visible signals can be unbelievably powerful, which kind of leaves you with a question to think about. What are the hidden bottlenecks, the invisible frustrations in the work you do? And what simple signal, what empty shelf could you create that might just transform how you get things done?